Game over screens are typically a bummer in video games. That all changes when you can find a secret game over screen. Sure, you may have died, but it creates a whole new experience as you find hidden secrets, Easter eggs, and fun moments within 10 different games. These games range from platform titles to survival horror and even a few classics. Before you get game over, click subscribe. You'll join the notification squad and be first to know of new content. Arkham City's Catwoman DLC. Arkham City really upped the ante on the original Arkham Asylum game and expanded how much you could do as the Dark Knight. Not only could you play as Batman, but the game also included exclusive DLC levels where you took on the role of Catwoman. During one of these missions, Catwoman comes across 2 briefcases full of money after defeating the enemies. While holding those suitcases, she witnesses a dying Batman on the monitor, and has the option to either save him or run away with the money. Running away with the money leads to a false ending and game over screen where the main credits start playing. This occurs when Catwoman exits the building, walking confidently with all that cash. Just as the end credits begin to roll, the Oracle comes through the audio, telling Catwoman how she needs to save Batman. Then, just when you think the game is over, time reverses and Catwoman is back to making that pivotal decision again. The game creators hope players will now make the right decision to save Batman and prove Catwoman isn't as bad as she looks. The brutal decision to leave Batman for dead is even more morbid when playing as the Catwoman skin from the child-friendly Batman, the animated series. Dishonoring Dishonored. The game may be called Dishonored, but the creators want players to have just a little honor while playing. During an early mission in the game, players discover that Piero is peeking through a keyhole while the character of Callista takes a bath. After shooing Piero away, you have the option of entering the bathroom and intruding on her. She's clearly uncomfortable, but players can continue to harass her anyway. This is when the dishonorable game over comes in. Even though you're allowed to explore the bathroom, nothing will happen if you use the toilet or turn on the sink. The negative actions begin when you decide to invade the privacy of Callista more than you already have. There are 2 ways to get an instant game over. The first occurs if you attempt to jump in the bath with her even though she's clearly stated she doesn't want you to. The second is if you choose to kill Callista and murder her in the tub. When the game over pops up, the main reason for the game over will be irreconcilable hostilities. From there, you'll have the option of returning to your last save point, where you can avoid these deplorable actions and make better choices for your character. Tomb Raider's Fool's Gold. In the original Tomb Raider, there are so many ways to die. You can fall off cliffs, get chomped by a dinosaur, attacked by wolves, or even get shot by a cave-dwelling cowboy. Each of these deaths is pretty normal for the game, but players have also discovered a secret death where Lara Croft is literally turned into a gold statue. During one of the cave explorations, Lara comes across a giant statue of King Midas, and it's been broken down and weathered through the years. King Midas is known for his powerful curse where everything he touches turns to gold. The hand of the statue has actually fallen down in the middle of the level, and Lara can jump on top of it if she chooses. Once this action starts, her whole body slowly transforms into a gold statue, and it's game over for players. The level has to be restarted at the last save point, and the statue's hand should be avoided at all costs. Still, it's pretty cool to see the gold form up her body. This was a great effect for the original PlayStation 1 title, and was made even better for the upgraded anniversary release of the game. Far Cry 4. It doesn't take long for you to come face to face with the main villain in Far Cry 4. Literally in the opening moments of the game, you're seated right across the table from him as he offers you greetings and a nice meal. Once word of the resistance comes through, Pagan decides to leave to go fight them off. He asks you to stay and wait. But for many players, it's too tempting to get up, grab some weapons, and let the killing mayhem begin. By following typical video game actions, players are then forced to go through level after level in Far Cry 4. With a little patience, you can actually reach a secret game ending which takes very little time. After Pagan leaves, you should hang around the area for 15 minutes without doing much of anything. Then out of nowhere, he'll return as promised, and reveal the whole story behind the game. You'll figure out that he was a good guy all along, and actually there to help you. This leads to the final cutscenes of the game, the end credits, and a true victory for pretty much not doing anything at all. I guess violence isn't always the answer. A little patience and communication can go a long way. Daytona USA, congratulations! There are a ton of great racing games out there, and they're the perfect way for testing your competitive edge against computer rivals, friends, and your personal best lap times. Outside of a few titles that include a career sim component, most racing games don't require you to worry about your racing sponsors. The Sega arcade hit Daytona USA, however, includes a game over screen that makes it clear how important your sponsors really are. With most racing games, if you end up turned around, you get a huge warning icon letting you know you're going the wrong way, and Daytona is no different. However, if you drive in reverse on the advanced track Dinosaur Canyon, you can find a ramp near the pit station that can be followed. It leads to a tunnel, and if you drive up this ramp into the tunnel, you come to a dead end with a huge yellow sign. That reads, "Congratulations, you just lost your sponsors." Discovering this sign leaves you with too little time to complete the track, causing you to lose the race. For an arcade game, it was an unusual and fun way to come in last place while reminding you to stay focused on winning next time. Mass Effect 2. In Mass Effect 2, it's common to get killed by enemies during battle missions, but players usually feel relatively safe when exploring ships and settlements between the battles. The main character, Captain Shepard, has many allies in Mass Effect 2, and interacting with them is a huge part of the game. When he's not shooting down enemies, he can be found getting into romantic encounters with various crew members. One of the options for a romantic encounter is with Morinth. Morinth is an alien-like creature who has killed numerous people, and clearly has a sinister side with her powers. During an emotional cutscene, Morinth reveals to Captain Shepard how lonely she is, but her powers prevent her from getting close to others. Despite this warning, Captain Shepard still has a chance to get close to her. As they embrace and kiss, a deadly attack overcomes Shepard's body and he dies instantly. The critical mission failure game over screen appears and players are left shocked at this random death. She's essentially like a space version of a Black Widow, killing everyone in her path. This random killing proves death can be found in both love and war. James Bond: The Stealth Affair. Many people remember the first great James Bond game being GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64, but years earlier, the United States was treated to a James Bond adventure that featured all the classic elements from the films. Officially known as James Bond: The Stealth Affair in the United States, the 1990 PC game was a point-and-click adventure that put you in the shoes of a secret spy agent. Unlike Bond movies that have thrilling opening scenes on trains and boats or jumping across city buildings, this game takes you through the tedious task of going through airport security. This isn't an ordinary airport though, it's a corrupt airport, looking to take out American players and arrest them at will. Before your computer mouse is even warmed from gripping it, you can find yourself at a game over screen in just a matter of seconds. If you don't have a proper passport, you'll likely be arrested, whisked away, and likely killed off screen. Poor Bond is forced to restart the level and find some kind of counterfeit passport to avoid this quick death. And you thought real airports were a pain? The Metal Gear Solid 3 Time Paradox. The Metal Gear Solid series is known for jumping around through multiple timelines and can be really confusing for players looking to follow the story chronologically. While Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty followed each other on the proper timeline, Metal Gear Solid 3 took players all the way back to the 1960s to tell some of the early stories of characters. This meant Snake would be going up against some classic villains who would appear again in the future, even if it means they were already in games that got released. One of these villains is Ocelot. Ocelot is a classic character and essential to almost every Metal Gear Solid game. In Metal Gear Solid 3, he presents many challenges to Naked Snake, a character who later transforms into Big Boss. During one point in the game, players are able to actually shoot and kill Ocelot. Instead of rewarding you with the victory, you're treated to a game over screen after creating a time paradox, which would completely change how the other games developed. Once you have the option of continuing your game, you can go back and reverse your decision to kill Ocelot, and save the space-time continuum for the series. The Evil Fish of Resident Evil. In a survival horror game like Resident Evil 4, there is the potential to run into terror around every single corner featured in the game. Zombies can appear out of nowhere, enemies can come in groups, and in some cases, it can take a while before you're able to relax and take a break from the non-stop action and intensity. This is why many players may take a short break to enjoy the lake views in the middle of the forest. While walking on the docks, you can look into the lake and see some fish swimming around, but it's probably not the best place to start a little gun practice. Players have discovered that if you start shooting into the lake with your gun, you will summon a giant Del Lago creature to the surface. The Loch Ness Monster is nothing when compared to the mutated and downright scary Del Lago. The monstrous amphibian will swallow you whole and then go right back down into the lake waters like nothing happened. There's no way to avoid this action once it starts. You'll have to continue the game from your previous save point, but you'll earn the award Don't Shoot the Water. This is one of the best jump scares featured in the game. Sonic CD. With his high speeds and the urge to defeat Dr. Eggman over and over again, Sonic the Hedgehog is not a patient man. Ever since the first Sonic the Hedgehog game, players have witnessed the impatient toe-tapping Sonic if they stop moving him for a while. Apparently, Sonic got so sick of waiting, he got pushed to the point of a mental breakdown when Sonic CD was released. The game features a unique death which happens when a player does nothing at all to warrant it. After about 5 seconds of not moving, Sonic gets an angry look on his face. He looks straight out of the TV and shows his attitude by tapping his foot and placing his hands on his hips. This action continues for about a minute or so until Sonic suddenly takes a leap off the edge of the level and disappears. Then the fateful music plays and a game over message appears on the screen. A pretty bold move for the Hedgehog. I don't think Tails would have stooped that low. Next time you play Sonic CD, remember to pause it before your next bathroom break, or you could find yourself playing whole other worlds all over again. There you have it. What hidden game over screen do you think is the best? Is it worth dying to see these cutscenes happen? Are there any we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to The Gamer on YouTube so you can stay up to date with our awesome videos.